You're looking.
I still have the same best friends from high school.
Which I love.
More or less.
Which I love.
But the one that we were talking about with the wine, that one hurt because I remember being on the floor with her crying over some dude who did her wrong, God, this guy was a drunk. Like, I just remember picking up the pieces and like being cordial with him when they got back together and stuff like that. And then for her to turn around and end our friendship over another dude. Like this guy that she was seeing, mind you, they were talking for like 3 weeks. 3 weeks. And this person, you know, like nothing wrong with her, but at that time just wanted love.
Yeah.
And maybe that was like some unhealed trauma on her part, but just needed love, like just needed somebody there, just needed somebody. It couldn't be your friend, it couldn't be your family, like it had to be some dude, and like you had to have it. And during this time, like I was very unhappy in my marriage, and I like would tell her like, don't settle. Like I settled, like I'm, you know, instead of like being home with him every weekend, I'm over here with you, like we're going out and drinking and then meeting some dudes. Like don't settle. And for her it was just like, no, I need to find someone, which is fine. Some people are like that. I completely get it. And this person, they were talking for 3 weeks. He was an ass, just like ass. And he would say, it's because I'm the alpha. I'm an alpha.
Right off the bat.
I'm an alpha. Yes, I take control over things. And yes, I have a strong personality. And yes, I'm going to call you out when you do some stupid shit. That's just how it is. But for him, he was like, oh, I'm the alpha. That's why I'm an asshole. No. You're not an alpha, and that's why you're an asshole. And so did I intimidate him? I'm not sure. But there was a point in time that he got in my face. Up in my face. This grown man, and he's taller than me. I'm 5'4". He's like 2 inches taller, so he wasn't that tall. But just in my face with his, you know, his little sports car. Like, that's what we liked in high school. I don't know. We were too old for that crap. Like, I had already had my second, so we were well into our later 20s. Getting in my face, all drunk, like, oh, but I'm the alpha. Be the alpha then, bro.
Yeah.
You like a real alpha could have another alpha in the room, and y'all are friends.
Exactly.
But we're not going to talk about that.
That's an insecure man. But I digress.
So she and I talked about it, that like, because we were drinking. I'm not gonna lie, we were drinking, and when I'm drinking, I am a 7-foot buff man. That's my personality. I will tell you something,
and I love that. I love it.
But she talked to me about it, like, you know, you got to respect my relationship and blah blah blah. And I said, you know what, like, this dude is not good for you. And ask my best friend in Kansas, I am not gonna sit there and be like, leave him, ever. But I told her, like, it's gonna end badly. I'm just letting you know that, like, it's gonna end badly. Like, I can see it now, and I'm telling you this because I'm worried for your safety at that point.
Yeah.
And she was like, if you don't respect my relationship, then we're done. And I was like, okay. And she and I, like, through high school, we didn't like each other. I didn't like her, she didn't like me. And then eventually, like, we had mutual friends, so it was just kind of like, okay, maybe we can be friends. And then we became the best of friends. And so that was great, right? But then it came back out. Like, did you really like me at the end? You know, because she told me, like, if you can respect my relationship, like, we're done. Like, I don't want to be friends anymore. And I was just like, you know what? Fine.
Yeah.
Because at that point, I'm not fighting for nobody. I didn't fight for, you know, some dude. I didn't fight for some girl. I didn't fight for anybody to want me.
Yeah.
So at that point I said, fine, but don't come crawling back to me when he breaks up with you, or when he finds something better, or when he does something bad to you, because I see it. This was like on a Wednesday or a Thursday. Saturday, I went out with a few friends. We went to the casino to see some country singer, and I think you were there too. And I'm pretty sure you invited her because guess what? He broke up with her. This was 3 days later. But what got me is she still had that stick up her butt. When I walked up to the casino, walked up to everyone at the casino, I said hi to everybody because I am not that person. And she just, like, her shit didn't stink. And I'm like, baby girl, he just broke up with your ass 2 days, 3 days after you told your best friend that you didn't want to be friends anymore because you chose him. He didn't choose you in any aspect. So for that, like, I was just like, whatever. And when our mutual best friend passed away, I tried to call her so that she didn't have to read it on social media.
I do remember that.
And she didn't answer.
I do remember because I think when you had told me, it was like 5 a.m. I remember.
Oh my gosh. I think I found out like 3 a.m.
Yeah, and I remember.
And it took everything in me to gather myself to tell others.
Yeah.
Because nobody wanted to read that on freaking Facebook.
No. No. And I think that's why you and my best friend who I've known since I was 3, who may come on the podcast. She actually called me one time to tell me my best friend, since we were 3 or 4, he had passed away. And she said, she had texted me, don't go on Facebook. And she had called me to tell me that. And I was just in shock. And then to relive, and I think that's why I have PTSD now, because my mom will say, call me. And I'm like, but now she'll text me. She'll say, call me, but nobody died. Because I'm so scared to have that call, because even we had a mutual friend that had gotten shot. And one of our friends had called me at like 4, 5, 6 in the morning. I was asleep, and saying that this person got shot. And I was just like, so now I have PTSD because it was, when we were 21, then the person got shot to that one. And then your phone call was the last one that I'm like now scared of. And
you know what though? Like, I didn't text you. I straight called you.
Did you call me?
And you know what, JoJo? I don't call anybody.
You don't.
And so that's how you know. If you get a call from me, it's probably not good.
So that's why I was like, I remember now. I was like, because going through PTSD, I'm gonna tell you when you're like living that. But I do remember that because I think I missed your call and I called you back because it was like, again, it was like 5 a.m. Yeah, I think I woke up. Yeah, like because you don't, it's like, and then I called you back and I was just like in shock.
You know what? I lied. I do call you sometimes. I call you drunk at a Chris Brown concert to ask you what my favorite Chris Brown
That was fun.
Because when I'm drunk, I don't remember what my favorite Chris Brown song was.
You're a tall man.
And the tall man doesn't like Chris Brown. But that was like I don't call you though.
Yeah.
Like if I need something, I'm gonna text you.
No, I get that. The only person I really FaceTime is my best friend, who, again, I mean, even my cousin, my cousin from Texas, we'll text each other, we'll snap each other, but I don't really ever call her unless it's like, one time she actually called me recently and she's like, hey, where are the hangers at in Target? I said, girl, you're in Texas, babe. Let me look at the app. What's the zip code?
Yeah, right?
Let me find the hangers.
Yeah, let me send you the app.
Let me send you. But I think that's kind of where I'm just like, but I give you big props for actually even just like, regardless if you don't talk or whatever the case is, for even just relaying that information. You know what I mean? Because I think even when her ex had passed away a few years ago or a couple years ago, however long it's been, you actually did reach out then too.
I didn't reach out to her. I reached out to you.
To me, to be that.
To make sure that she was okay.
And I feel like that's huge. Yeah. You know what I'm saying? Now, nothing ever has to be the same again, but I just feel like those are big things that if you guys were truly friends at one point, you will reach out. And
it's totally true though.
And I agree. Like if anything happened, even though he's like my ex, but he was my friend at one point, if anything happened to any of his family members currently,
it would be a big deal for you.
I would reach out and just say, hey, you do not have to respond. I just want to make sure you're good, whatever the case is, because his family means a lot. Like just making sure he's good, because there was, whether that was a friendship, relationship, whatever the case was, there was something there. Even the high school girls I was telling you about that I went to, like the one high school, one of the girls, her brother had passed away a few years ago, and I went to the services because regardless of anything, that was somebody that I grew up with at some point, and I was in her wedding. She had a special place in my heart and still will forever. I will tell her happy birthday. She actually reached out when I went through the breakup and was just like, I'm sorry you're hurting. I'm here if you need anything. I appreciate, and I will forever remember all the girls that had reached out to me. I mean, there was even some men too, but I feel like it was just women coming together. Even if I have talked to you once, twice, maybe even in high school, like the messages I received was just like overwhelming, and I was just so grateful. And it's just like, those are the people that you're just like, I'll remember that. You know what Absolutely. I mean? Like, we won't ever be best friends, but the fact that you reached out to me when I was going through the hardest time, like, thank you. You know, like those are the things. And I feel like, can't speak for that specific person for your guys' friendship, but I do think that was like, look from the outside looking in, I think that was very big, even when our mutual friend had passed away, even when her ex had passed away, even when you had reached out to me, because I do remember that text when you were just like, hey, I heard the news, I just want to make sure, you know,
that she's okay.
And I remember when I had went to the service for him, and I had met up with her, I did relay that message to her, you know what I mean? And she took it well, but I just feel like it's just those things. I'm like, I would hope and pray in her head, like, hey, you know what, that, you know.
And I'm not asking to be best friends again.
No.
I'm not even asking to be friends.
No.
But like, let's be cordial. And if there were something to ever happen or someone's gonna say something bad about me, turn around and just be like, you know what? That's not Candi. Because we all know who I am. And we know what type of person I am.
Exactly.
But like, you know, that's all I ask.
No, I agree. And I feel like that's the thing too. Fortunately, I haven't heard anything, but a lot of people know not to say anything negative about any of my friends in front of me, because I will say something.
Yeah.
Because I've always been that one. Everyone says it from high school. I've always been the one where all my parties, everybody comes together, because I get along with everybody. Unfortunately, I get along with everybody. I have that personality. Whether they dated here, and the exes are at the party, whether it's just
and it just always happened, and that's just how it was. But you know what? Like, bringing up that friend, you had a party one time, and the ex that got shot, something unfortunate happened. It wasn't serious, thank goodness. But the fact that she laughed, it just irked me.
Yeah.
Because for me, if my ex were, God forbid, in any situation, in any like imperative state, if something ever happened to him, like, as a person, I'd just be like, oh my God, like, I just want to help type of thing. Oh, she laughed, and that irked me the wrong way. But that was like my awakening that we're never going to be friends again.
Yeah.
We don't have that same heart or the same views anymore.
Yeah. No, speaking of same views, I did have a best friend at one point. Her and I were inseparable. And again, just views change people. I just feel like I have to, and I think that's why my circle also gets smaller.
Yeah.
Because I just feel like going forward for me, if our views don't align, it's not even being on one side or the other. It's like, you're showing me that you are, whether it's homophobia, racism, you know, women's rights, all of that stuff. It's like, then you're not it for me. Why am I going to play, like, you know, fake it till I make it? You know, it's if you publicly put it out there and talk like that, I can't. And I feel like that's where I feel a lot of friendships for me personally have changed, where I pulled back. I will say hello and goodbye and great.
Yeah.
But we will never sit in the same.
We might be in the same room, but not at the same table.
Thank you. Because I feel like I've kind of made my table, and I'm happy with how my table is now. But I feel like there's no room to add anybody, unless it's whenever my future husband arrives. But realistically, I just feel that I just can't, like, you know, like the way people's hearts are these days, and especially just these like last few years, have really shown who people are. And I just feel like, you know, again, we can all be in the same room, but you can't eat with us. Exactly. You can't sit with us.
You can't.
I'm like, there's just, you know, I just kind of feel, you know, it is what it is at that point. But that's where I'm at. And that's where I kind of stand on like my friendship breakups and going through that. And like I said, I'm happy to sit here and say, you know, hello, goodbye, whatever the case is. But going forward, I'm good. I'm good with my circle. I'm good with my people. I'm good with my friends. I'm happy. I'm content. Like, friendship breakups are hard. I'll say that. They are hard. And I feel like there are some friendships too that are more like, that have turned into sisters.
Oh yeah.
You know what I mean? My best friend since I was 3, you know how many arguments we probably had? And the fact that we are still friends. But I feel like, again, that was like, she's family. You know what I mean? There was points where we weren't close because, you know, she lived out like 40 minutes from Albuquerque. I live in Albuquerque. It's just one of those things to where, you know, she went to different schools, whatever, and then we got close, and then, you know, then she ended up getting married and maybe weren't as close. And then, you know, it's just finding, but that's my girl forever. But I just feel like it's always been one of those things, but sisterhood. That's how I feel for her specifically.
Yeah.
Sisterhood. Because there's a lot of friends I have that I've never, you know, had to go through that with, but we've known, that is family. When you've known someone since you were 3, I'm 33, so that it's been 30 years.
Yeah.
30-year friendship.
Yeah.
And yeah, it's sisterhood at that point.
No, it's very true.
And I couldn't imagine that friendship breakup. I genuinely couldn't. Unfortunately, we're on the same side of things. We have the same views. I know that she's met a lot of my friends this year, which I was thinking the other day, like, I'm just really happy that all my friends are finally meeting, because, you know, I know then everyone would just meet each other. But now I feel like, because I've like really cut back on some people, I feel like people are getting to like actually meet good people, and
not even just like meeting, like we're getting to know each other.
Yes, you guys are. And I just love that. Even if it goes from like the book club meetings to just like even just hangouts to Snapchat to social media, you know, my cousin from Texas requested one of the girls that we go to our book club with, and I mean they add each other to close friends, and they're just like, you know, they talk all the time or like each other's things or whatever, and I'm just like,
you know, what's gonna be cool too though is that like the last old school JoJo party did not involve me and your best friend since you were 3 being civil.
I know. So I'm excited because I feel like you guys are very similar. So I feel like you guys are just gonna like,
you know what? We didn't like each other because we said we didn't like each other.
Exactly. There was never a reason.
There was no reason whatsoever. Like I think she didn't like somebody that I hung out with, that I still hang out with.
Yeah. Which is still, I think that was the thing too.
I think so.
Which that person will be invited, because I like her.
Yeah.
I like her. She is, I mean, she's so sweet to me. I mean, we've grown, like, again, that's another.
And that's something, that's what you call bigger person. That is. Both of you guys.
That is. And I feel like that was a friendship breakup, actually, talking about friendship breakups, because we were close senior year. And then, of course, I think a couple years even after that. And then whatever had happened. It just, you know, we broke up or whatever. And as the years have grown, like, you know, kind of gone on, I feel like, you know, I'm not saying we're the best of friends, but we're friendly. We talk like, and we'll, you know, she'll ask me if like a spirit is open. We'll talk about going to a class together, because we talked about like this dance class we wanted to do. It was like on 98th Street. I was just on her live recently, actually on TikTok, and I was commenting, and she was I was going to see Morgan Wallen, and I was commenting back and forth, and she's like, Joe, and it was just, you know, she's like, you really influenced me to do a movie by myself. And I was like, yes, you should, because I love going to movies by myself.
Oh yeah,
we know this. Every Sunday, every chance I get, I will go to one by myself, because I love going with my friends. I love going with people. I love going on dates to the movies, but it's just nice when I have a theater by myself, because most of the time if I go early enough, no one's in there.
Oh yeah.
So I get my popcorn, my large, because I don't like sharing, and I will eat that all. And just by myself, and just vibe and watch the movie, and I don't have to worry about, you know what I mean? Because I'm an anxious movie watcher. Over the years, because even recently when I went on a date, I saw Jurassic World or whatever the new Jurassic movie is. I don't even know. I don't remember. And I was just like stressing out. And I was like, even earlier, him and I were watching Maze Runner, and I was like stressed out, and I don't even know. I know it's the first time I've ever seen that movie. I've never seen it. I know it's like years past, but I'm just an anxious movie watcher if I've never seen it. I think that's why I go back to my comfort shows like Degrassi, The Hills, all my comfort shows. I think that's my problem, but no, I really liked that when she said that, and I was just like, oh, like that was so sweet that I made like some kind of impact on her. And we're friends on social media. Like I said, I mean, she did a whole photo shoot for me a few years ago.
Hey, I remember that.
Yes. I just feel like, I just feel like, you know, and she invited me to her Halloween party last year. And not that it's like, oh, she invited me last year, I'm going to invite her this year. It's like, no, I feel like there is like, you know, now are we ever going to be close again? I couldn't tell you that.
Yeah.
But I do see.
There's a door.
And it was closed cracked, whatever. But you know, I feel like it was growth on her end, on my end. It was high school. It wasn't like it happened in its 20s where we were grown. Our brains weren't even developed yet.
No.
I feel like that your situation was completely different, because I feel like for us it was just like high school drama, an unrelated boy, like, be for real, you know, we don't, I mean, at this point she has her life, I have my life, and you know, she's actually a big supporter of mine, and I really appreciate it. You know, she'll like one of my, you know, anytime I post a TikTok, she'll like it right away. Or I post on Snapchat and she'll, like, you know, like the photo or whatever. She's, like I said, there's no problem there at all whatsoever. And I feel like that, again, I feel like if you, whether you want to be civil or whatever the case is, I feel like that's where you just need to be the bigger person and take that, you know.
No, for sure.
So when she had reached out to me about, which she was the bigger person first, not that it was like a tit for tat. Like, it was not. It was just more like she reached out and was like, hey, we should do a photo shoot. Your birthday, you know, you're the only one I know with Halloween birthday. And I was like, sure, girl, like, let's do it.
Yeah.
And then after that, it was just like, cool. Like, we drove up to the mountains together.
Yeah, that's a big.
Huge. We drove up, I mean, and the mountain, like where I live, to go all the way there.
Her live too, where
exactly.
She lives too.
So she had to like pick me up.
Yeah.
And then we drove together.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And I feel like, again, it was just, I feel like we built that again. I'm not saying, again, like we're going to be inseparable, but I do appreciate like her even just, you know, reaching out and having that.